Good morning, everybody. Grumpy Vegan Grandad here. It is Saturday morning. It is 9:38. I'm just about to set off down south. I'm going picking some hardware off somebody. Vegan programmer. He's kindly donated it to Grumpy Vegan Grandad Limited to do more, help me with my video work and YouTube, etc, etc, etc. Great donation. So I'm going to spend a couple of hours with them, and his other half, who is also known as Nicky Riverine. Yeah, let's get the AKAs right. Let's do that right. So it's about a 2.5 hour journey, and I'm setting off right now, so I should be there about 12 o'clock ish as planned. And don't forget, people, there is no Planet B. Later. Okay, so I'm here. I'm at vegan programmer Carl's house. Now, where the hell is the house, we ask ourselves? Well, there it is. It's only a bloody barge. Yes, look at this. This is my idea of tranquility. Can we go and have a look, Carl?
Yeah, of course.
Right. You better go first, because you lead the way. Look at this. This is amazing. We've got chili peppers. Oh, you've got the mini chilies. Wow, yours is really thriving. And is that a pumpkin there?
No, it's a squash.
A squash.
Yeah, I don't know how big it'll get.
Right. And oh, so this isn't too bad. Look, I can stand up straight. I'm 6'1", and I can stand up straight. Look at this. And all mod cons. Amazing. I'll tell you what, can I move in, please? Look at that. There's so much room, I'm really surprised.
Well, you missed half of it.
Aye?
There's like another half down here, but it's not. You can't film it.
I can't film it, right? Okay, I get the hint. I get the hint. Nikki doesn't want to appear on camera, that's why I'm avoiding her. So
That's the crap.
this is the what section?
That's like the drawer that everyone's got that they're shoving.
Oh, come on. So you used to work with like bands and stuff like that
Back in the day.
back in the day. Look at this guy. He's so young, and he's like back in the day. So who's this?
That's Mickey D from Motorhead.
Oh, nice. And this is his. Oh,
It's old, this is his.
that's been pounded as well.
2001 that's from.
Wow. That's when I was as young as you.
Probably is.
While we walk, we'll keep Nikki off because she's camera shy. So I'm down here now with Carl. You can get him on Instagram, vegan programmer, and he has done all my graphics and my backgrounds and everything, and my branding. You can get him too if you just follow him on Instagram and send him a message. But I'm down here now because he's given me a gift. Are you allowed to say what gift you've given me?
Yes.
He's given me a PC tower that will replace my old one, my old sort of obsolete one. Stop me panicking about it going off during the live streams. So you live on this barge down here.
I do.
And it is absolutely a beautiful place you live. But how long have you been vegan?
2 years.
2 years, right? So you're 2 years in, and how are you finding it?
Yeah, fine. I was veggie for 10 years before.
Right.
And then the past 2 years, Nick said to me about going vegan because she she kind of went vegetarian for a month and then straight into veganism.
Right.
sort of thing.
Okay.
And my first reaction was, no, that's too extreme. Kind of thing, yeah. So she showed me one video, and I imagine it would be like James Espy or something like that sort of thing. I was like, fair enough, makes complete sense to me, sort of thing, and been vegan ever since.
Yeah. So how you finding it, especially living on the barge? How are you finding sort of? I mean, I can see you grow a lot of your own stuff. You're growing tomatoes, you're growing chilies. Is that all Nicky's work, or is that your work?
Yeah, they'd die if it were me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all Nick. It's taken her years, because when we first moved there, it was all like overgrown and like wild stinging nettles and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And basically, she's transformed it. I mean, it looks a bit slightly rough at the moment because it's getting to that time of year, but if about a month or two ago, all the flowers are out and everything, it just looks amazing. Yeah, we've never had a garden that good before.
And it's all on a barge as well. It's just like, yeah, it's crazy. Because I mean, you said to me you're surprised that I'm not surprised that you about you living on a barge, but it's yeah. I was only talking about it the other day. I'd love to sort of live like
Give it a go.
that lifestyle. Yeah, too right. I'll see what happens if. Oh, there's more blackberries coming up. I just can't resist the blackberries. The blackberries here are juicy. There's not going to be any. In fact, let's have a look at these. Let's find a juicy one. It doesn't matter even if there's small ones. They're actually quite sweet.
It's been like a dog marking his territory, picking all these blackberries up.
So we're going to have a walk around the lake now and everything. So you're still working for a living. Do you have to commute, or do you work from home?
Working from home until New Year, I believe, is what
Right.
they said.
Because of the lockdown, obviously.
Yeah. But I think our company's worked out that everybody's able to work from home just as normal, and if anything, we're more productive. Because more people are putting hours in after work and stuff to get things done. And
Yeah,
so,
and make more time. I suppose it's like, we call it job and knock. Have you ever heard of job and knock?
no.
It's like, basically, if you get your job done in 3 hours,
Right.
you could go home. So I suppose that's a similar thing when you're working from home. Is if you get your production done in 3 days of the week, you're no, they want
We've
more.
got that much to do. We just
Right,
get moved
okay.
on to the next thing.
right, okay. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, that's the way some people work. So will you have to commute then?
Yeah, when we go back to New Year, but from what I understand, it's only going to be like a couple times a month. When you work for a big software company, it's a slightly different week in terms of that you have things called sprints. So basically you have like a 2-week long set of work that you're supposed to do, and you'll get allocated tickets for jobs that you're doing. So you basically kind of plough through that. So our work cycle kind of works 2 weeks at a time, if that makes sense. So what they're on about us doing is going in on what we call is the changeovers.
Right.
So, when we move on to new sprints, so they're going to want us to go in then, I think, by the sounds of it, and do all the meetings and things like that. Because normally, like on those changeovers, the whole day is just meetings. You don't have any work as such. Then at that point.
1 second, someone is disturbing me. So wait, before we got rudely interrupted by phone calls.
You eating blackberries?
Me eating blackberries as well. That is a lovely old car coming. So yeah, so how do you commute? Are you in a car?
Yeah, just drive to it.
Ah, right. So what are what are winter months like on the barge?
Fine, we've got a long burner thing, so that gets really hot, and you don't really notice the cold at all, unless you decide not to light the fire.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's mad, isn't it? It's just like, so if you, I mean, I know you've told me that your barge hasn't got an engine.
Yeah, well, it has, but it doesn't work.
It doesn't work yet. So where could you actually, if you decided to up sticks now, where could you actually go to without sort of stopping?
Well, anywhere really. No, I think he means like longer term sort of thing. You can pretty much travel most of the UK on it.
Right.
Changing over to different water
using the
systems.
canal systems and because you're actually on a river, you're not on a canal, are you?
No, that's right.
Right.
So
You just joined the Grand Union and then to another one.
yeah, that's right. As far as I'm aware, like Devon and Cornwall don't have reliable water systems. They're all kind of tidal based, so you can't really
right
down there. That's the only place I've heard of so far that you can.
Yeah. Oh wow. And how long have you lived there?
We lived here for 6 years.
2014.
2014.
You moved into a barge?
Oh no, much before that. 2006. Yeah.
Wow, so like 14 years you've been a river dweller. Can we say that? Is that politically correct to call you a river dweller? I hope that's not a derogatory comment.
That's one of the nicest things people have said. water gypsies, all sorts.
You was on a barge first, Nick?
Yeah.
Nick who doesn't want to be on camera. I find it really interesting that you both do that, and wow. Yeah. So what's the future hold then? What's your plans?
Hopefully at some point maybe buy some land sort of thing and have our own little space sort of thing where there's no rules and all that.
Right.
But that's a fair way off yet. So.
Yeah, but I mean, at least you're heading in a direction rather than it just being random.
Yeah, it's always important to aim for something.
You did mention to me before when we were chatting before that you were thinking about having like where vegans can come and stay and chill out and
yeah, that would be awesome.
Is that on the cards as well?
Hopefully, if we can save up enough to get a decent deposit and do it, then definitely that will be.
You need to get some of them see-through dome things that people can sleep in. Those are really cool where you can like be sheltered but look up at the stars.
Would you want to sleep in a?
Not really. I don't want to sleep in a greenhouse.
Yeah,
no.
I don't think I'd want to.
Well, listen, mate, it's nice chatting to you, and we'll get some more scenery as we go around the lake.
Sounds good.
Yes. Right, so where are we now, Carl?
We are the lake right next to where I live.
This is on your doorstep.
Yeah, I think it's called Kinderwell Lake.
Right. It's beautiful, mate, and it's like you're just surrounded by all these lakes and countryside and everything. And so, what did you used to do before you got into this like river? Yeah. What was your occupation before all this?
I worked in music, and I was basically kind of flicked between tour management and production management. Basically.
Right.
How I kind of got started into that was my uncle used to be a huge Motorhead fan, and basically I think when I was 15 or something, he took me to my first Motorhead show. When he played it to me originally, I didn't like it at all. But when you were there in person, it was incredible, and I just saw how much he loved Motorhead sort of thing. So a few years later, I was writing for local sort of band websites and things, just talking to bands and interviewing it. So I basically came up with the idea of going to the Motorhead show and trying to do an interview, but not with the band, but with the road crew.
Right.
So I basically ended up going and ended up getting pointed to a man called Adam, who turned out to be Motorhead's manager, and basically told him about my uncle and all that sort of thing, and that I wanted to do an interview with road crew and all that. So basically, kind of from there on, my uncle ended up getting what they call a super fan pass. So Motorhead used to have a group of super fans that would travel across the world with them.
Yeah.
my uncle got that, and I was basically able to tag along the whole time, sort of thing. So while I was there, got to know everybody really well, and kind of learnt bits and pieces of like how a music production works in terms of a tour and things like that. And then used that experience from there to move on to other bands. I think the next kind of biggish one after that was there was a tour with Bullet for My Valentine. It was their first album, The Poison, I think it was called. And basically one of their support acts needed help, sort of thing. So I volunteered to do that, and ended up doing that tour then, and got kind of passed on to others, sort of thing.
So you sort of like, you could say you sort of fell into it.
Just it was completely by accident.
And it happens a lot, that. Yeah, so you sort of fell into that, and so then you started doing it yourself.
Yeah, basically what it was is most people that work in music, it's going to be a seasonal thing. So unless you're with someone massive, like proper on their payroll and all that, and you're doing it all year round, you'd basically find that you go away for 2 weeks to a month or something like that at a time. So from there on, you'd have to find jobs in between and things like that, sort of thing. So I basically made the jobs in between a pursuit of like trying to find other bands to work with and things like that. And then if at a point where that dries up, sort of thing, and you don't know others people to reach out to because your friends aren't on the road or whatever, then basically I just set up my own outfit doing it, sort of thing. And, ended up doing the music for Marshall Amplification, Deckline Shoes, and Miami Ink and people like that, sort of thing, at the London Tattoo Convention and things like that. Did that for a few years in a row. And,
wow, yeah.
It's really fun.
Yeah, I bet it is as well. And it's one of them sort of like random things. It's like no day's ever the same, is it? And
no,
it's not. It's not.
I used to like the waking up in a different place each day. That was quite cool. But,
how old were you at that point?
Oh God, I did music from when I left school, so I probably was 17 or 18 properly when I started doing it, and I gave it up 7 or 8 years ago, perhaps, something like that.
So the prime, you're in your prime of your age, and you're doing this mad job where you're travelling around with bands and.
Yeah. Everybody thinks that touring is about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Well, it is.
Like fucking fans, and it sounds great. You've lived the dream, haven't you?
It was cool, but it's definitely a younger person's game.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Travelling got on top of me.
Of course it does. I mean, living out of a suitcase, it's never ideal, is it? You never you haven't got that home base to settle into, have you? And
no, that's the thing. It literally is living out of a suitcase. Basically, you don't know when your next job is going to be. Like sometimes I'd go down and do jobs at like we were talking about earlier, like the Manchester O2 academies and things like that. I go and fill in there and things like that. But it's a cool life, but not if you want to start a family or anything like that. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Have you got family, by the way? Have you? Did you hear your grandkids on there?
yeah, because obviously Nick's a little bit older than me,
right?
So I do have grandchildren, so it's Nicky's sons.
So this step grandchildren. Right, okay. So there's no plans of little Paratani thing for you two?
I don't believe so.
Right. Yeah, you best move, mate. Best move. It's a vegan thing to do not to have kids anyway, at the moment. Apparently so. So you left that, and now you've got into.
Well, I always did programming and stuff like that, and how that kind of worked is, as your parents always say, have a backup plan if everything goes wrong. So from school I kind of learnt programming and just basic stuff, HTML, stuff like that. But then kind of while I was working in music, I met people along the way and were able to do websites for some big companies and things like that. So I used that skill set and that kind of word of mouth to get more customers. And then kind of year before last, I got to the point where it was basically, I'd grown it to such a big thing that I couldn't manage it all myself, sort of thing. It just grew too quickly. So, I kind of had the disadvantage of I hadn't monetized support properly. Right. So I was ended up doing loads of stuff for free for people, sort of thing. And that kind of got to a point then where I thought, well, you got to kind of get work to be continuous.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? So basically, I got fed up with having to keep getting new jobs in every time.
Yeah.
I'd rather just build the stuff and all that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I applied for some. I didn't have the confidence in the first place to kind of reach out to firms and stuff like that. So I contacted a agency that deals with programmers and things like that, and I basically give them the truth about where I was at with my skill set and all that sort of stuff. And they got me straight in at the place that I'm at now.
Right. Because
amazing, really.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just one of those things that there's manual jobs, and then there's jobs where you can still be creative. I mean, I suppose it's still you're still using your creative talents.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
And obviously, you did my all my stuff on my YouTube, my artwork, and my branding, and got all the colours and everything. And you can help other people do that as well. If anybody's out there on YouTube, want to create a brand, want some artwork doing, want some help with anything along those lines, they can get in contact with you. And you're not totally free anymore. You don't go down, you don't go down those routes anymore. But you're not exactly the most expensive on the market.
No, I mean, I'm lucky that I've got a well-paid job anyway. So how I kind of deal with that is it's normally what people can afford. So as long as they'll make an offer, and if it's sensible for the amount of time it's going to take, then I'll do it for that sort of thing generally.
That's a sweet way to work, mate.
As long as people don't take the mickey. It's all good.
Yeah. I'm really poor, sending pictures of them sat outside on the street, and yeah. Oh, it's a really cool story, mate. Nice one. Right, should we get moving then?
Yeah.
She's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart covered as a gift, and hope that you'll take it into her side.